My friends, we've all heard it before. Everyone talks about no contact like it's the magic key. They say block them, ignore them, vanish into thin air. But here's the truth that most won't tell you. Silence alone is predictable. It's too easy for them to explain it away. They'll tell themselves, you're just upset. You'll calm down. You'll come back. And while you're sitting there thinking you've got the upper hand, they're still comfortable in their own little story. They can still imagine your life without having to feel the weight of losing you. That's not power. That's a pause button. And pauses can be unpaused. But what really shakes them to their core, folks, isn't just the absence of your voice. It's the undeniable presence of your life. It's when you shift so suddenly, so completely, that they can't keep up with you. It's when you go from being a page in their story to being a book they can no longer open. Imagine a movie where the hero they underestimated disappears, only to return in the final act unrecognizable, stronger, sharper, untouchable. That's the role you're stepping into. And the more they realize the story they told themselves about you is outdated, the more they panic because they no longer have editing rights. They can't rewrite what you've become. You see, most people think power comes from doing nothing, but real power comes from moving forward in a way that leaves them breathless. It's not about hiding, it's about shining so brightly they can't look without squinting. You're not just closing a door. You're building a castle where they can't cross the drawbridge. You're not just walking away. You're walking into a better life, one they'll only hear about through whispers. And whispers spread faster than you think. This is where Stoicism comes in. We don't act out of spite. We don't play games. We live. We grow. We master ourselves. You don't need to chase them, folks. You let the wind carry your presence into their world while you stay calm, grounded, and unshakable. The universe has a funny way of turning the tables when you're not even looking. One day, they'll scroll past your smile, hear about your success, or see the light in your eyes that used to dim for them, and it will hit them like a cold wave. That's when regret creeps in. Slow, heavy, and unstoppable. So I'm not here to tell you to count the days until they miss you. I'm here to hand you the blueprint that makes them haunted by you. I'm talking about that feeling where every little thing in their day points back to you. The coffee shop you used to visit, the song on the radio, the laugh of someone in the street. They won't just remember you, they'll feel you. And the more they try to forget, the more you show up without even trying. That's the kind of presence you build. And here's the truth, my friends. They may have rejected you, betrayed you, or thought they could replace you. But the day will come when they'll sit in the quiet, replaying everything, and realize they didn't just lose someone. They lost the best chapter of their life. That day will come not because you hid away, but because you became untouchable, because you became undeniable, because you became more than they could ever hold. So hold your head high, live in a way that makes their memory of you too small to fit the reality of who you are now. That's the Stoic way, calm, unmoved, in control. Write this in the comments right now. I rise above. Press that like button, subscribe, and stay with me because we're just getting started. So listen to me, my friends. Stop looking back over your shoulder. That chapter is closed, and the person they remember is a ghost compared to who you're becoming. You are not here to fit inside the tiny frame they once painted you in. You are here to tear that frame apart and build something so much bigger, so much brighter, that even their best memory of you feels like a faded photograph. This is what Stoicism looks like in real life. Calm on the outside, unstoppable on the inside, and completely unmoved by their absence. And I want you to make a promise to yourself right now, not tomorrow, not later, right now. Write it down in the comments so you can see it staring back at you. I rise above. Let it be the first public declaration of your new story. Put it out there like a flag planted in the ground that says, I'm done being small for anyone. And if you're ready to live like that, ready to become the version of yourself they'll never stop thinking about, then hit that like button, subscribe, and stay with me, because the fire we're about to light in you is only getting started. Number 1. The sudden rewrite of your role in their life. My friends, this is where the real shift begins. This isn't about ghosting them for a few weeks and hoping they notice. This is about burning the old script they've been reading from and handing them a story they've never seen before. Yesterday, in their mind, you were the safe harbor, predictable, open, easy to read. You were the one who answered the late-night messages, who listened without judgment, who stayed even when they made you feel small. But today, you're something else entirely. You're a mystery they can't solve, a riddle they can't answer, a book where the pages suddenly don't match the ending they were expecting. And that change, that sudden rewrite of your role in their life, shakes their sense of control more than any silence ever could. Carl Jung once said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." But here's the thing. They thought they could walk away without changing. They thought you'd stay the same, sitting there, frozen in the version of yourself they left behind. And that belief was their comfort zone. It's easy to walk away from someone when you think you can always come back to the same place you left them. But when you rewrite your role, you destroy that comfort. You remove the safety net. They no longer have the privilege of predicting you. Ask yourself, why would this be so difficult for them? Why would it get under their skin more than anything else? Because people, at their core, hate losing control over a story they think belongs to them. They had a role for you in their mind, the loyal one, the forgiving one, the one who never truly leaves. And overnight, you change the script. Overnight, you're not waiting for their attention anymore. Overnight, you've stopped centering them in your decisions. They're no longer the sun you orbit. They're just another planet you pass by. And when that shift happens, their ego takes the hit before their heart does. Think of it like this. Imagine they're watching their favorite series. Every episode has the same characters, the same dynamics, the same predictable drama. And suddenly, their favorite character disappears, replaced with someone bolder, stronger, completely unrecognizable from the timid version they knew. It's unsettling. It's frustrating. They'll keep watching, hoping to see the old you return. But deep down, they know that person is gone. That's the space you want to live in, where their curiosity gnaws at them more than their comfort ever could. And here's where the Stoic mindset comes into play. You don't make this shift out of revenge. You don't do it to play games. You do it because growth demands it. You do it because the person you were before tolerated too much, waited too long, and expected too little. Now you move with the calm certainty that you owe no one the old version of yourself. You have the power to choose who gets to see you and when. You no longer explain yourself to people who misused their access to you. This is self-respect in action, and believe me, it's far louder than any no-contact period. Of course, they'll notice. They might test the waters with a casual message or watch from the sidelines to see if this new you is just an act. But here's the truth. Once you've stepped into your power, you can't shrink back down to fit their comfort. The moment you taste freedom, their old control loses its flavor. And as they watch you moving differently, choosing differently, thinking differently, they'll start to feel something they didn't expect: uncertainty. Uncertainty is dangerous for the human mind. It's what keeps us up at night, replaying conversations, searching for clues. They'll start asking themselves, who are they talking to now? Who's getting their attention? Do they even think about me anymore? And the more they ask, the more the silence between you roars. Because now, you're not just absent, you're evolving. You're becoming a story they're not a part of, and nothing bruises the ego quite like realizing you've been written out. I know some of you are thinking, but what if they don't care? My friends, even if they pretend not to, human psychology doesn't work like that. When you take away someone's control, when you remove their ability to predict you, the mind reacts. It's not about love or even regret at first. It's about power. And when the power dynamic shifts in your favor, they feel it. It's in the way they hesitate before speaking your name. It's in the way they watch from afar without saying a word. It's in the way they scroll through your page just to see if you've posted anything that gives them answers. This is why you must hold your ground. Don't slip back into the role they once gave you. Don't hand them the old script. The new you is not a temporary costume. It's who you've been becoming all along, now finally revealed. And if you ever doubt whether this is working, remember, the silence is not empty. It's filled with their questions, their assumptions, their longing. So keep rewriting that role. Keep becoming the character in their life that they can't replace. Let them feel the loss, not because you slammed the door, but because you opened a new one and walked through without looking back. You are the author of your story now, and no one gets to dictate your lines but you. And I want you to affirm it right here, right now, so your future self can look back and see where the change began. Type it in the comments. I write my story. Say it like you mean it. Put it out there where the old version of you can't touch it anymore. Press that like button, subscribe, and stay with me, because the deeper we go, the more you'll realize you were never meant to play the supporting role in anyone's life. Number 2. The energy shift they didn't see coming. My friends, there's a moment in every real transformation when the change stops being about what you're doing and starts being about what you're no longer willing to do. This is where the energy shift begins, not with loud announcements, not with dramatic posts, but in the quiet decision to stop carrying weight that was never yours to bear. You don't just stop talking to them, you stop thinking for them, worrying for them, living as if their comfort is your responsibility. And when you reclaim that energy, it's like you've taken the keys back to a house they've been living in, rent-free inside your mind. Carl Jung taught us that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. That's exactly what's happening here. You're waking up to the truth that so much of your mental and emotional fuel was being burned on them, replaying old conversations, analyzing their silences, waiting for some sign of care or regret. And now you've redirected all that power back to yourself. It's not fate that you're becoming lighter, sharper, stronger. It's choice. And here's the beauty of this choice. It isn't invisible. Even if you never post a single update, the shift is noticeable. People can feel when you've stopped operating from need and started operating from self-possession. It's in the way you walk, in the way you make eye contact, in the way you no longer rush to fill empty moments with talk about them. You become someone with gravity. the kind of gravity that pulls the right things in and repels the wrong things without a single word. For them, though, this shift feels like an unplugged power source. Think about it. If they were used to feeding off your constant attention, your availability, your emotional investment, losing that is like losing oxygen. Even if they won't admit it, the drop in your energy is felt. They don't hear from you, they don't feel you checking in on them with little gestures, and they start to notice an uncomfortable void. And here's the thing about voids. The human mind always wants to fill them. Somewhere in their day, maybe while scrolling their phone or lying in bed at night, they'll sense it, that strange emptiness where your energy used to be. It's not just that you're not there. It's that they can feel you somewhere else. They can sense your attention has found a new home in your own life. And whether they admit it or not, it stings. But let's be honest, my friends, this shift is not easy. You'll have moments where the old habit of pouring your energy into them creeps back in. You'll catch yourself wondering what they're doing, who they're with, if they miss you. And that's when you have to remember, every ounce of energy you send their way is energy you rob from your own growth. Stoicism teaches us to focus only on what's within our control, and the one thing you control completely is where you place your attention. Place it on you, and you'll never lose. And if you've ever doubted the power of this energy shift, let me tell you, it's the unspoken force that changes everything. They can ignore your absence for a while, but they can't ignore the glow you develop when you're no longer weighed down. They can't ignore the sharper edge in your eyes, the unshakable calm in your voice, the subtle yet undeniable way you carry yourself like someone who belongs entirely to themselves. So keep your energy close. Invest it in your own growth, your own peace, your own vision. Let them feel the loss without explanation. Let them wonder why the air feels different without you in it. This is your life force, my friends, and from now on, it belongs to you. Type it in the comments right now. My energy is mine. Plant that declaration where the old you can't take it back. Hit that like button, subscribe, and stay with me, because we're only getting stronger from here. Number 3, living a life they can't access. My friends, there's a huge difference between disappearing and truly moving on. Disappearing means you're just out of sight, sitting at home, waiting for their name to pop up on your screen. That's not real strength, that's just hiding. Real strength is when you start living in places they can't reach, building a world that's not only separate from theirs, but also completely out of their control. It's when you wake up and decide that your life will be more than a waiting room for someone else's attention. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." This is exactly what you're doing, becoming the version of yourself that was buried under all the waiting, the hoping, the wondering. You're not waiting for them to give you permission to live. You're out there having experiences they'll never know about, conversations they'll never hear, and moments they'll never be invited into. That's where the power is. In the life they no longer get a front row seat to. And here's the thing, you don't need to flaunt it. You don't have to post every detail on social media just to make them see. This is about living it, not performing it. Because when you live it for real, the change shows in ways no picture can capture. It's in the way you laugh with new people, the way you get lost in a conversation that has nothing to do with them, the way your eyes light up over new opportunities. People can feel when your life is expanding. And the person who lost you? They feel it too, even if they can't see it. For them, this is where restlessness sets in. The human brain is wired to crave what it can't have. And now, your life has become private territory. They might hear bits and pieces through mutual friends or see a hint in a passing moment, but never the full picture. That partial glimpse will drive them crazy because it's not enough to satisfy their curiosity. It's just enough to keep them circling, wondering, obsessing. Picture it like this. There's a door they used to be able to walk through any time they wanted. It led to your world, your time, your attention. Now, not only is that door locked, but there's a whole new building they've never been inside. They're left standing outside, trying to guess what's happening on the other side, hearing only muffled laughter and catching fleeting shadows. That's the kind of inaccessibility that eats at someone's mind. And here's why this is so powerful. You're not using it as a tactic. You're not creating this life just to provoke them. You're creating it because you finally understand you deserve more. You deserve to live fully without pausing for someone who couldn't see your worth. The restlessness they feel is just a byproduct of you finally claiming what was always yours, your freedom to live without permission. You might wonder, but what if they don't care? My friends, people always care when they've lost access to something they once took for granted. It's human nature to want back what's been taken away, even if we didn't appreciate it when we had it. And the truth is, the more you keep your world private, the more valuable it becomes in their eyes. Scarcity creates value, so keep living in those places they can't reach. Keep meeting new people, laughing in new conversations, building new memories that have nothing to do with the past. This isn't about proving anything to them. It's about proving to yourself that life after them isn't just possible, it's better. Let their mind keep circling the locked door. You're already somewhere else entirely, and you're not coming back to open it. Type it in the comments right now. My life is mine. Let it be the declaration that you're done giving them access to your peace. Press that like button, subscribe, and stay with me. The world you're building is just getting started. Number 4. Replacing closure with confusion. My friends, we've been told all our lives that closure is something we owe people, that we have to sit down, explain ourselves, give them a tidy ending so they can move on. But let me tell you the truth. Closure is often just a way for someone to soothe their ego and control the narrative one last time. And when you withhold it, when you step away without the long speeches and emotional goodbyes, you create something far more powerful than a neat ending. You create confusion. And confusion, in the human mind, is like an open loop that it can't stop trying to close. The beauty of not explaining yourself is that they're left with the blanks. And here's the thing about people, they never fill in those blanks with boring answers. No, their imagination will run wild. They'll start wondering if you met someone else. They'll picture you finally realizing your worth and refusing to settle. They'll imagine you laughing somewhere they can't see, living in a light they no longer get to stand in. And here's the real kicker. Their imagination is always worse for them than reality because it's unlimited. Carl Jung understood this when he said, "The pendulum of the mind oscillates between sense and nonsense, not between right and wrong." When there's no clear explanation, the mind swings wildly between possibilities. One day, they'll convince themselves you're miserable without them, and the next, they'll swear you've moved on completely. That emotional whiplash is exhausting, and it's exactly what keeps them thinking about you when they swore they wouldn't. Imagine it like this. They're trying to read the last chapter of a book, but half the pages are missing. They keep flipping back, looking for clues, rereading the earlier chapters, trying to piece together what happened. And the more they search, the less certain they become. That's what happens when you take away the ending they expected. Instead of a clear, "we're done," they get the unsettling feeling of, "what just happened?" That feeling is sticky. It doesn't go away easily. And here's why this works on such a deep psychological level. Human beings hate unanswered questions. Our brains are problem-solving machines, and when they can't find the answer, they loop back again and again. You've become an unsolved riddle in their life. You're not just the one that got away. You're the one they never fully understood. And people don't forget mysteries. You might wonder, but isn't this cruel? Shouldn't I give them closure so they can move on? My friends, the closure they're looking for isn't about your healing, it's about theirs. And sometimes, the most stoic, self-respecting thing you can do is let them sit with the consequences of their actions without offering them an emotional exit ramp. If they walked away thinking they'd always understand you, it's time they learned that you're not that easy to figure out. Now, don't mistake this for playing games. This isn't about crafting some fake air of mystery. It's about truly living your life without the need to explain every move to someone who didn't value you. When your actions are guided by your own growth and peace, the confusion they feel is simply a side effect. You're not confusing them on purpose. You're just no longer making yourself available for their version of the story. And that's when the missing starts to hurt them, not because they can't talk to you, but because they can't stop thinking about the why. Why did you leave without explanation? Why didn't you fight for them? Why do you look happier now? And every why they ask themselves is another thread that ties them back to you. So hold your ground. Let them fill in the blanks. Let their imagination paint pictures you don't confirm or deny. Because the more they try to solve you, the more they realize they no longer have the tools to do it. Type it in the comments right now. I owe no closure. Let it be the line that frees you from explaining yourself to anyone who failed to value you. Press that like button, subscribe, and stay with me. The mystery you've become is only going to grow. Number 5. The social proof avalanche. My friends, this is the part they never see coming. Up until now, they've been able to convince themselves that losing you was no big deal. They've told themselves you'd blend into the background, that life would go on the same for everyone else. But then something starts to happen. Your quiet transformation stops being just your secret. Other people start to notice. Friends, acquaintances, even complete strangers begin engaging with you differently. They laugh more when you speak. They compliment your energy, your style, the glow they can't quite explain. And here's the thing, your name starts to show up in conversations they aren't invited to. Maybe it's a friend posting a picture with you. Maybe it's someone casually mentioning that you were the life of the event. Maybe it's a stranger saying, "Oh, you know them? They're amazing." Every time this happens, it's like a pebble dropping into still water. The ripples reach them eventually, and each ripple stings more than the last. They don't just hear your name, they hear it surrounded by admiration, respect, even desire. That's when the truth begins to settle in. While they hesitated, you became more valuable in other people's eyes. Carl Jung believed that the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. You were transformed by the pain they caused, but now the reaction has shifted. You're being transformed by the recognition and respect of people who see your worth without you having to prove it. And from their perspective, that's unbearable. They wanted you to exist in a box where only they got to define you. Now they're watching as the world redefines you in ways they can't control. It's a strange thing, isn't it? How the same qualities they overlooked are suddenly shining brighter to everyone else. It's not that you became someone different overnight. It's that you stopped dimming your light for the wrong audience. The moment you took your attention off them, you created space for others to step in and appreciate what you bring to the table. And appreciation has a way of multiplying. One compliment leads to another. One introduction leads to a new circle. Soon, your network expands, your reputation grows, and your presence carries weight. For them, this is a slow avalanche. At first, it's just a small piece of information. Oh, I ran into them the other day. But then it's, they've been doing really well lately. Then it's, you should see what they've been up to. And each layer of praise piles higher until it feels like the walls are closing in. The social proof that you are thriving becomes impossible to ignore. Even if they try to block it out, the world keeps delivering the message. They lost someone valuable and everyone else can see it. And here's the beautiful part. You don't have to do a thing to force this. You're not staging moments or chasing attention. You're just living in a way that naturally draws people in. You're creating experiences, connections, and results that speak louder than anything you could say directly to them. And the more the world celebrates you, the harder it becomes for them to hold on to the story that you were replaceable. This is why I tell you, my friends, keep going, keep growing. Let the recognition happen naturally. You don't need to announce your worth. Let others do it for you. And when they hear your name in rooms they're not in, let that be the silent reminder that while they were busy underestimating you, the rest of the world was taking notes. Type it in the comments right now. The world sees me. Let it be your affirmation that your value is no longer hidden. Press that like button, subscribe, and stay with me. The avalanche has only just begun. Number 6. When they realize you're unreachable in spirit. My friends, this is the moment that cuts deeper than any silence, deeper than any unanswered message. It's not that they can't reach you, it's that they can't reach who you were. They might still have your number saved. They might still be able to hit that message button and type out a few words. But the truth is, the version of you they once had access to no longer exists. And that's what truly breaks them. They could send a text right now, but they know in their bones that they couldn't just pick up where things left off. Carl Jung once wrote, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain. The pain they feel now is the awakening to a reality they didn't prepare for. You have outgrown them. You've evolved past the level they abandoned you at. You're no longer living in that emotional space where they could predict your reactions, manipulate your feelings, or keep you orbiting around them. You've moved forward in time, and they are stuck in the moment they let you go. It's like you were on the same train once, traveling together toward a shared destination. But when they got off at a stop they thought was more exciting, you stayed on and kept going. And now, when they look at the tracks, they realize that train is gone. And even if they tried to run after it, they'd never catch up to where you are now. That's the distance that hurts the most. Not physical distance, but spiritual distance. And make no mistake, my friends, this is a different kind of power. When someone knows they can still physically contact you, but understands deep down that the connection they had is gone, it creates a quiet panic. They start asking themselves, if I reached out, would they even care? Would they even answer? Would it feel the same? And the worst answer for them, the one they can't stop thinking about, is no. Because now, when they imagine you reading their message, they don't see the same softness in your eyes. They don't see the same willingness to drop everything for them. They see someone who's built a life that doesn't need them, a life where their opinion carries no weight. That's when the fear sets in. The fear that they're not just out of your life, but out of your world. And here's the most important part. You didn't become unreachable in spirit by accident. You chose this. You made the decision to grow into a person who's no longer available to people who once took you for granted. That's Stoicism in action. Valuing your own peace over the temporary comfort of letting someone back in just because they knock. You're no longer the safe harbor they once ran to. You're the open sea now, vast and untouchable, with horizons they can't even see from where they're standing. And when they realize that, it won't just sting, it will linger. Because they'll know that even if you spoke again, they'd be meeting a stranger, not the person they once knew. So hold that position, stay unreachable in spirit to anyone who didn't respect your soul when they had the chance. Let them feel the weight of that distance, because that's where the lesson lives. Type it in the comments right now. I've outgrown them. Let it be the line that seals this new chapter for you. Press that like button, subscribe, and stay with me. The further you go, the harder it becomes for them to ever catch up. Number 7. The trigger moments they can't escape. My friends, this is where your absence stops being just a gap in their day and becomes a storm in their mind. Because the truth is, the human brain is a collector. It stores sights, sounds, smells, and moments in little pockets, ready to be pulled out without warning. And when it comes to you, those pockets are full. It could be a song playing in the background while they're shopping. It could be a street they drive down on their way home. It could be the smell of coffee drifting out of a cafe you once sat in together. Even something as small as hearing someone else use a phrase you used to say will catch them off guard. At first, they might brush it off. Oh, just a coincidence. But over time, these little coincidences pile up, like raindrops filling a glass. And each one brings a rush of memory they didn't ask for. The smile you gave them that day. The way your voice sounded in a quiet moment. The look in your eyes that made them feel like they were the only one in the room. They thought they'd moved on, but the triggers don't care about their timelines. The mind doesn't ask permission before it opens the floodgates. Carl Jung spoke often about the unconscious, saying, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." That's exactly what's happening to them now. These triggers are the unconscious reaching out and tugging on their thoughts. And the part that hits them the hardest? They know they can't do anything about it. You're not just a memory they can neatly store away. You're a living, breathing person who's still out there somewhere, moving forward without them. And the more they picture you in motion, the heavier that loss feels. Here's the thing, my friends. These triggers hit harder now because they've lost access. Back when you were still in their life, seeing something that reminded them of you might have led to a quick message, a call, a way to bridge the gap. But now, that bridge is gone. The street, the song, the smell. They're just reminders of a place they can't go back to. And that's when the longing really takes root. Think about it like a song stuck in your head. You didn't choose it, but it keeps looping, and the more you try not to think about it, the louder it plays. That's you in their mind now. They can try to distract themselves, but every little trigger presses play again, and with each replay, they're reminded not just of you, but of the version of themselves that existed when you were there, a version they can't get back without you. This is why your presence is still so powerful, even in your absence. You've become woven into the fabric of their daily life in ways they can't untangle. You are in the smell of rain after a hot day. You are in the sound of laughter at a table nearby. You are in the warmth of a moment they didn't appreciate until it was gone. And because you're no longer there to dilute those memories with reality, they've taken on a kind of golden glow in their mind. The kind of glow that makes people ache. So let the triggers do their work. You don't have to lift a finger. You don't have to send a message or post a thing. The world around them will keep reminding them for you. Type it in the comments right now. They will remember. Let it be your quiet promise to yourself that you've already left your mark. Press that like button, subscribe, and stay with me, because the more life you live, the more the world will keep whispering your name in their ear. Number 8. Why the pullback always turns into a comeback. My friends, this is the part of the story that always plays out the same way, no matter how different the beginning looked. The pullback, when you step away from their world, not in a storm of drama, not in a cloud of angry words, but with the calm certainty of someone who knows their worth. It always plants a seed. And the thing about seeds? They don't sprout overnight, but given enough time, they always find a way to push through the soil. People don't value what they can predict. As long as they could map your every move, as long as they knew that no matter what they did, you'd still be there, you were safe in their mind. Predictability breeds complacency. But when you step outside of that, when you become someone they can't read, can't predict, can't control, suddenly they have to reevaluate everything they thought they knew about you. And that's when the real shift happens. The rejection, the betrayal, the ego-driven reasons they gave themselves for walking away, all of it starts to blur under the weight of a single, haunting question. What if I made a mistake? That question is the crack in their armor. It's the thought that slips in during the quiet moments, in the middle of the night when they can't sleep, when they're scrolling through their phone and see something that reminds them of you, when they're with someone new but can't quite shake the comparison. Carl Jung once said, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart." When they finally look inward, past the pride and the stories they told themselves, they'll see the truth they tried to avoid. You weren't just someone in their life. You were the anchor, the safe place, the one who showed up without fail. And by the time they realize it, you'll already be further down your path, too far ahead to turn around. That distance makes them ache. Here's what makes the comeback inevitable. It's not that you cut them off and sat in the dark, waiting for them to notice. It's that you pulled back and filled your life with light they can't touch. You became more vibrant, more confident, more untouchable, and the human mind is wired to chase what feels rare. Scarcity creates value, and your absence made you priceless. Now, when they think of you, it's not just nostalgia they feel, it's longing mixed with regret, and regret is a heavy thing to carry. They'll replay the moments they dismissed, the messages they ignored, the times you needed them, and they chose themselves instead. And the more they replay those moments, the clearer it becomes. They had something extraordinary, and they let it slip away. And so, slowly but surely, the pull back becomes the pull forward. They start testing the waters. A casual message, a like on your post, a mutual friend accidentally bringing them up in conversation. They're looking for a crack in the door, a sign that they can step back into your life. But here's where your stoic strength comes in. You don't rush to open that door, because now you know that your worth was never in their hands to begin with. The comeback isn't a victory because they return. The victory is that they return on your terms, to find you no longer standing where they left you, but standing taller, stronger, and untouchable. And so, my friends, that's the truth they never see coming, the pullback, the transformation, the quiet strength that makes you unforgettable. You don't need to chase, you don't need to explain, you just need to keep becoming the version of yourself they can't stop thinking about. That's the real victory. If this spoke to you today, drop your affirmation in the comments, press that like button, and subscribe for more. Share this with someone who needs the reminder that their worth is never up for negotiation. Stay with me. Your comeback story is only getting started.